Welcome to episode 102 of Star Wars and Scotch. It's me, Kevin, joined with Tim as always. We have episode 6 of Andor, premiered late last night, early this morning, depending on where you are in the world. We're going to be talking about that. We got a few news pieces. But yeah, Tim, how are you?
I'm good, Kevin. I'm okay. I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
From comp Overwatch?
Oh my god, dude. Competitive Overwatch is so sweaty. It's so much fun, though. It's really enjoyable. So
I popped in yesterday, and I just hear the anger in Lupo's voice when he gets competitive.
It also gets really sexual. Yeah, I mean, like our call-outs, everything just sounds really bad.
I was watching a TikTok video yesterday. It was my best experience in Tarkov. And it's Australian or New Zealand. I don't know where he was from. Someone down there. And they encountered this American, and then the Americans, like, they realized they're a streamer too. And he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Where are you from?" He goes, "Florida," and I'm like,
"Sounds about right." You got Gibbons' video? Yeah, he's from Ireland. How did you get New Zealand?
That did not sound Irish to me at all.
Oh, he's very Irish. It's Mr. Gibbons.
Maybe my memory is playing tricks on me. It was on the shitter.
The only video of Full Shark that's like viral that's on Tarkov is him meeting Gibbons, and at the end he goes, "Oh, he fell over," because he killed a PMC. It's really good. It's a good video. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Gibbons ran it. Gibbons is great. I think honestly, like, proximity chat was the best thing that ever came to that game. But
yes,
anyways,
yeah,
I digress.
You get those interactions. Before we go any further, I'm actually drinking Bowbreaker this morning, Tim.
Oh, why?
Because I ran out, and that's all I had left. That was fresh.
You're drinking espresso? Just going right for espresso.
I mean, we made it as cappuccino on Monday, and then yesterday we made it as coffee, and it was a little on the strong side, but I just added a little oat milk, and then today I did the same thing.
You know, you could have just made it an Americano, right?
I wanted to, but she puts it in the night before, so we don't have to worry about it with the kids and everything.
Oh, she puts the coffee, like the water, in the coffee machine.
5:45, that thing starts percolating.
Like, the coffee machine runs overnight. I was like,
no, this is weird. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's like a smoking coffee.
I was like, oh, this coffee must taste terrible in the morning.
No, she sets it up at night and puts the water and everything in it.
Okay, she has a timer. That's the part that I missed. Very critical point is that it's on the timer.
Yeah, it just makes it easier. So I just threw a little oat milk in there, and essentially it's not too bad. But yeah, I was on Monday. I was like, let's make an Americano. She's like, I want a cappuccino. I was like, make your cappuccino.
Well, I'm drinking our Fall Tide, and it's delicious. This is my favorite. This is my favorite time of year. I love fall.
It's the most wonderful time.
And then we get to Christmas, and I'm just so happy. I really like the last stretch of the year from October till like the end of December is like my favorite part.
Yeah,
because the air changes, it smells different outside. It's just like, oh yeah, food's different. Oh, and everyone's so happy. Like, everyone feels happier.
Yep,
I think the heat just makes everyone just really just upset and miserable, and everyone just seems like all just like up and cheery. So it's great.
What's the excuse up north if it's the heat down here?
Because they live in New York? I don't know.
I saw a thing the other day that said Southerners will smile to your face and stab you in the back with like a bless his heart or something like that. It's like New Yorkers, if you trip and fall down, they'll pick you up, turn around, and not say a word to you. I was like, that's kind of true. Anyway, so yeah, kingscoastcoffee.com. Make sure if you're hanging out this coming Tuesday is the finale of the first edition of the Rings of Power D&D. I think the entire team said when season 2 comes out in 2037 or whatever they're saying now, that maybe we'll do another run again. No. I
hope to God I'm retired by then.
You don't want to play D&D though, just for fun?
By 2035? Oh my God, Kevin.
It's a joke. It's supposed to be 2024.
Please don't make me work until 2035.
No. Oh God, please. Don't make me work until 2035.
Please don't make me work.
So if you coming out, you can get the code to save 10% off on your next Kings Coast order. kingscoastcoffee.com. Tuesday nights, Rings of Power. Over on Captain Robert's Twitch channel. The finale for this season is next week. And then we're doing watch parties for Rings of Power on Thursday mornings on my Twitch channel. And then tonight on Facebook and YouTube, we'll be playing some Star Wars and Scotch, or some Star Wars The Old Republic for Star Wars and Scotch game night. We'll be talking about what we talk about on the episode today and Andor and all of that stuff. And that'll be on Facebook and YouTube on the Rare Drop channels. So, or is it mine, Paul? I don't remember. Paul organizes this.
He'll be on the internet.
We'll be live. We'll do it live. And it's on the Star Wars and Scotch Facebook and Rare Drop YouTube. Cool. Awesome. All right. Anyway, to the stuff that we have to discuss. I loved this episode.
It was such a good episode. It was fantastic. Everybody died though.
Well, we got the mission. We even got an homage to Mission Impossible there.
Yeah, it was really good. Just the jumping off the bridge was fantastic.
I will say that it even though there was death, that went much better than I thought it would.
Yeah, what did you think was going to happen?
I thought they were going to get caught. We were going to get on this cliffhanger. Things weren't going to go as planned. I would say for the most part, their plan went off pretty well, all things considered.
A lot of people died. And so, like, I don't know, man. I'm very curious to see how, like, what happens next. I like how they showcase just like the terrible things they had to do in order to like progress the rebellion, and like taking a kid hostage was like that was a lot, you know, like it was dark. But like the way that the mission like all came together was really cool to see. Again, like they've done a really good job of capturing emotions in these shows, and like the fear of like, is this gonna work? The nerves before the mission started, you know, and like I haven't slept all night, you know. It's just like all these things that just like people who are like, I would assume, I've never fought in war, but people on the battlefield the night before some big mission, I would assume your nerves are up. I'm sure those things go through your head. Like, am I gonna make it? Like, am I gonna get through this? I don't know. I hope everything goes well. And they did a great job of just like leading up to that. And then like once we're in the shit, how it all went, it was just like the cinematography for that. It was so good. It was fantastic. The shots, everything just felt cohesive, and the action was paced out well. Like I just, from start to finish, this entire episode was amazing. It was so good. And you're right, Kevin. It was like a condensed like Mission Impossible movie.
But yeah, when they jumped off that bridge, I was like,
It was just so good. Even them, just like, even the dogfighting was really cool. You know, like actually getting to see like a TIE fighter pilot like get into his cockpit and turn all his instruments on and like lock it and like watch the instruments go down, like all those things. It was so cool. It was just really neat.
For years, people like argued over how TIE fighters launch and all this stuff. And now like the last 3 shows and books and stuff and games, they're like, this is how a TIE fighter launches from a ship. This is how a TIE fighter launches from the ground.
It's confusing because for the longest time, we always assumed that like TIE fighters landed on their wings.
Right, which we've also seen.
And you come down from like, you come from underneath, which I understand, but like I think the big reason why they don't like landing their TIE fighters, or like the lore, is because you don't want to put pressure on the wings, you want to damage them, because they can retract, they can actually fold in, and like there's landing gears and stuff. But it's a lot easier for them to be like mission ready and like battle ready when they can just drop down from those and just right out.
So as far as the death count goes, we lost Terriman. He got shot in the warehouse. Nemec almost made it, but then got crushed by the
That was
pallet
so sad, dude. So I had that on, like I had it on downstairs, and Kyler came down. Amy and Kyler were getting ready to leave, and he goes, "That guy looks like Maz Kanata." The Dr. Quadpaw.
He does.
Yeah, his name is Dr. Quadpaw, which I thought was hilarious. But Kyler just goes, "He looks like Maz Kanata." It's like,
true.
So, I was like, "Oh, dude, he does kind of look like Maz Kanata. That's so awesome."
Boy knows it's Star Wars.
Yeah, but I felt so bad for him because it was the whole thing of like, "I'm ready. I feel great. The mission's more important than everybody else," and then squish.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be paralysis, not death, but unfortunately,
he had some heavy internal bleeding.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, his insides got squished.
I don't count Skeen as a casualty of
No, he was a casualty of his own volition.
Also, what happened to Lieutenant Gorn? I lost track of him.
Wait, which one's that guy?
The Imperial Insider.
Oh, he got shot.
Oh, I must have missed that then. He did get shot?
Oh, yeah.
I saw him getting on the ship.
He was like, "Corporal, you've got to go." And then the guy has a heart attack.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then the consulate or whatever he was, he had a heart attack. And then the guy's like, oh, shit, sir. And then he's like, no, bam, bang, bang. And then, pew.
Oh, he got him right there. I must have missed that.
It was the guy in the catwalk. It was like,
okay, so Gorn's
he
dead.
took a shot to the chest and died.
Cinta survived because she just walked out.
Yeah, so that was interesting. She just walks down into the temple dressed as an Imperial officer. I think
that was part of the plan.
Yeah, no, most definitely. That was the whole thing of like, promise me you'll be okay.
Right.
Because she gets left behind. So she's going to have to figure out how to get the hell off that planet. But like, yeah, that was really interesting to see her just like walk down. So I'd assume we won't see her for a little bit.
No, and it was interesting to see the politics of the Empire when it came to the Dahani people too. That I found.
Oh, that was kind of gross the way that they were talking about them.
Yeah, and then even, but the Dahani people, that leader knew, like, he was definitely not.
Oh, he knew it was all a ruse. When he burned that goat skin, he was acting all, like, nice and everything, and then just turned around and just, like, threw it in the fire. Like, he knows exactly what's going on. They're playing their part.
Right.
They can only do so much.
They said when they first got there, the pilgrimage was, like, 15,000 people, and now they were barely at 100, if that.
Well, they started off that pilgrimage, they were talking about how they were trying to, like, disrupt the people from going. So it's like they were talking about how they set up like all the food and like the drink carts, like all that stuff along the path. So it was disrupting their pilgrimage. So those people were just stopping and just staying there, and other people were carrying on. And so like, they didn't want a massive population outside the Imperial base, which I understand. It's keeping control. And that was the entire theme of that, was all about controlling people in a way that doesn't make them feel like they're being controlled, which is shitty. And that's dark, but at the same time, like, that's an actual, again, it's the same thing that I said last week. The show does a really good job of touching on things that are going on right now in the world. Like, there's no way around it. Like, I mean, like, we could try to tiptoe around it, but there's a lot of shit going on in the world right now. And they're doing a really good job of highlighting all of the things that we're feeling and kind of just like throwing it out there with the Star Wars theme. And I was like, this is sick. Like, this is really cool. Like, this whole idea of just the government manipulating their people in a way that they don't feel like they're being manipulated, but they're doing everything that the government wants them to do.
On that note, what do you think the response is going to be from ISB?
Oh my God.
Because part of guys was like,
oh my God, they are going to drop the biggest tactical nuke on these motherfuckers. They are ready to go to war. Holy shit. And I thought Luthen was fucked at the end. I thought that guy was an ISB agent, and he was like, oh, do you got anything from the Aldani system? And I'm like, oh no.
So did Luthen.
Screwed. And then that's why he walked in there and laughed, because he was just like, it worked and I'm clean. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I have a feeling the whole next episode is going to be ISB.
It's all going to be about them sniffing out these rebels and trying to figure out all these loose strings and everything that we know are there. Like, it was messy. There is no way in hell that they didn't leave clues from that bunker. There's bodies. There's probably they turn the power and everything off, but I bet you they're going to find some type of recording that's going to match up Cassian to wherever he was before, and then the guy who was the inspector from the beginning is somehow going to get looped into this. Guarantee it. He's going to come in. He's going to be some weird anti-hero at the end where he's like, "I've been searching for you, Cassian Andor."
Maybe a bounty hunter.
I think that's what he's going to turn into. I think he's going to turn into a bounty hunter of some sort, because he's pissed. He's really upset, and he wants to make it up. And we still don't know who that friend is for the mom or the uncle or whoever that is.
What if they didn't leave any clues behind, but Terramin or Gorn are still alive and they're about to get tortured to no end?
They're dead. No, they took a blaster bolt to the chest without any armor on. They're dead.
All right. Just playing devil's advocate.
I'm just saying from Star Wars theory. Apparently, if you eat a blaster bolt with your armor on or off, you die.
I will say that like you were talking about before. First of all, the eye cinematography, the CGI was incredible. It was gorgeous,
so beautiful.
But the whole way the episode was shot was definitely reminiscent of other like spy and films like that.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed how the Empire, they emphasize in the beginning that the Empire, they don't care. They're not going to adapt. They're going to do it their way, which played out the entire episode because nobody recognized the four of them but because of what Cassian says in the trailer, which I'm sure, or I think they might have said it in one of the episodes already.
When they said it in the recap trailer. He said, "Act like you belong."
Exactly, and that's all they did. And even though people kept looking at them, and you like every time somebody looked at them, your butt was like.
Well, because they even the whoever the top military officer was, he even looked at him. He was like, "Are these guys from wherever the fuck?" And then that right there was like, "Oh no, this is bad." He's gonna start sniffing. But that was the whole thing. Even Cassian says, "Just act like act like you're supposed to be there."
Because they're so full of themselves that they are like, "Well, how could anyone break in?
How could anyone get into our ranks? There's no way."
Yeah, and they played that beautifully throughout the entire episode up to the end. When everything, did
even at the very end, when the lieutenant was like, "This is a very secret mission." It was a classified mission, and they kind of ate it for a little bit. They were kind of like, just like it was the whole idea of like, there's no way in hell that these guys could be stealing from us.
Yep.
There's no way in hell that anyone could get this deep.
And with all the credits they took, he said it was around 80 million credits, and that vault was still full.
It was about half full.
That vault was still.
Well, remember, it was
packed.
It was quarterly. That was 3 months of payment for an entire sector. So you have to think of every single Imperial officer in that sector, and that's their money.
I was trying to Terriman when they revealed that he used to be a stormtrooper. So I was like doing my timeline math, and I'm figuring out. So, well, no, because they set it up in Obi-Wan. The clones are completely gone. We'll learn more about that in Bad Batch. So now, if I go back to episode 7 with Finn, are we at the point where they're taking kids yet, or is this still just like enlistment?
So they're taking. Okay, so we know that kids are being taken because of the Shadows of the Sith.
Yes.
Right? Kids are being taken, but we don't know what they're being taken for. So we know that people. So if we want to just go based off of things that you and I know from material that we've read and things that we watched, we know right now at this point that the conscript. So where we are, do you want to talk about them taking kids, or do you want to talk about?
I'm trying to figure out how Terriman's a stormtrooper.
Okay, so so he's a stormtrooper because go to Bad Batch when they start doing conscriptions.
And Solo.
I mean, so this is this is right around the same time. But go to the end of Bad Batch when they're starting to give everybody TK numbers and they're conscripting people for the Empire. That's the point. So that was 10-ish years before, right? Because
so
Obi-Wan and Andor are about a year apart in the timeline. So go 10 years back. You're in Clone Wars. You're in the Clone Wars Order 66. Bad Batch sector. So that's where we're at right now. So they aren't taking kids yet, right? All we know is that they know that working with the clones and with the Kaminoans isn't going to work. So we completely pull that off.
He was either conscripted against his will.
He was 100% a conscripted soldier. He was given a TK number at the end of the Clone War era as we go into the Galactic Republic.
He could have been forced into enlistment, though, like Han.
Yeah, I mean, like any of that could have happened, but he wasn't taken. He wasn't a child. Right. None of that. He wasn't a clone. He was definitely someone. I would love to know. Well, he's dead now. Would have loved to have known a little bit more, but all we knew is that he was a stormtrooper. We know that someone's family was completely destroyed by stormtroopers. Who was that? Was that the
Cintas?
The Cintas family. So we know that there's beef there. But yeah, I mean, like that's as much as we got about like the insight as to like where he came from. But as far as kids are going, I don't think we're going to start seeing the disappearance of kids until after episode 6 and before episode 7. So I mean, because that makes sense. The kids are getting taken because they don't like. There's not like the Empire's gone, so the Empire's dead. The Republic has everything. And they need something. They need soldiers. So we just start stealing kids. But they also talk about the cloning as well. So like I really hope we get more into cloning as we go farther.
Bad Batch will be the link there.
Because there's a lot of well, if there's cloning involved, there's a lot of holes in storytelling. But yeah, overall, this is just we're starting to see we're seeing the formation of the standard stormtrooper program. And I thought it was funny. It was like he used to be a stormtrooper. I was like, oh, he's gonna have a shitty shot then. I thought about that. I was like, but he also died. So I mean, like that right there and there shows you that stormtroopers are just cannon fodder.
So last question on the episode. Obviously, besides, well, we could talk about Mon Mothma briefly. Like the Senate was notified. It went all over the HoloNet. Like everybody knew very quickly. And that's why I'm interested in the Imperial response next week to this. And that's why I want to see what
it's going to be. It is going to be nothing but propaganda. It is going to be a lot of flashy propaganda as to why the rebels are hurting you. They're going to villainize the rebels to the upteenth degree. They are going to villainize every single one of them. Cassian is definitely going to become. I think he's going to become a poster child for the rebellion to a certain degree. I think against his will, he doesn't want to do it. You can even tell the way he killed the guy at the end. Mm-hmm. You could tell he knew it was the right thing to do. He's like, I can't let this guy fuck it all up. But at the same time, he was like, I have to kill him in order to save this, in order to keep this spark alive. I have to take this guy out. Like, oh my God, like what, like just to think about how the thought process went along of like, I'm listening, I hear you, this is fucked up, bang. You know, it's just like, wow, like it just progressed so quickly. And it goes into what Cassian said in Rogue One. I did terrible things for this rebellion. And that's definitely another one of those things that we can just add into his pot of just terrible things he had to do. But it's terrible through a certain lens, because through Cassian's eyes at that moment, he was saving the mission. And like that's why I was really frustrated that group didn't trust him, because like that there showed me that he's willing to give it all up. So, and he's willing to take you out if he knows that you're going to mess with the mission. And that goes into what he was going to do about Galen, when he was like, when he knew he was like, this isn't right, but I'm getting this order, and I have to do this. And like that's got to be nuts. That's got to be just I couldn't imagine making those decisions.
Do you think that this was Skeen's plan from the beginning?
No.
You think it was just like an afterthought?
I think he was on board for a bit until I think he was. I don't know. We didn't get to learn enough about his character, because I could say he gave me moments where I thought he was on board with the team. I was like, this dude will give up anything for this. Like when he pulled the knife on Cassian, mm-hmm. like that was like that moment of like, oh, like this dude is all about family and honor, and like this is his family, and he wants to make sure they're taken care of. And then we get to this point where he's like, fuck it, it's 80 million credits, I might as well just take half. So it's like, where was the flip? And I think the flip happened during the actual heist. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot in movies, man, and shows. Like people are all gung ho about this mission, and they do it. And during the mission or right after, you get a flip. Look at the Italian Job. It's a great that was planned earlier on, but like still, I mean, like this happens in Heist all the time. You've got someone who's like in it, and they seem like they're all about it, and then they flip on you. It's like that's the kind of thing that I got. Was like, oh, this is Italian Job now.
I think it might have been the fact that Val she wanted to just drop the credits off and not try and save Nemec. I think that was the flip, that she.
Oh, yeah. He was really adamant. He's like, he's alive. And she's like, right. Well, I don't know how much longer though.
Because suddenly the mission became more important than the people pulling the mission off. And that kind of almost goes against Nemec's ideals, because Nemec was all about the people.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think we got enough time with him as a character to really like understand the psychological difference between like the guy that we got at the beginning and the guy that we got at the end. There just wasn't enough character development.
It's a fun moral conundrum though, because on the one hand, it's like
almost definitely it's like a Schrodinger's cat.
For him, right? He cared so deeply for him, but the mission was so important to eradicating the thing that everyone hates and the reason they were there. But on the one hand, it was get the mission done. On the other hand, it was the person. So by that point, it was just like screw it.
That's hard though. I mean, like that's war, right? Yep. I mean, like you like casualties are assumed and casualties are taken into the equations, and sometimes you lose people in order to pull off this mission. And like that's the whole thing. Like that is what this rebellion is. It's all about hope, right? It's all about this spark of hope. And as long as one person's still alive, then you still have this rebellion. So it's like you understand as a freedom fighter that you're putting your life on the line, just like the people in Ukraine right now are putting their lives on the line to fight freedom. Like they know what they're doing. They know what's going on. But like that, and that's the whole thing is like, you have to like, and if you take that, if you take that option of I'm going to be a freedom fighter, like you can't turn, like there's no way of you turning back. Like you've got to be all in, or you're going to be like that guy and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm here for it until shit gets tough. And then I'm just going to turn and burn. So it's like, but that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a lot of these people who are like, I fucking hate the Empire. Let's go. And then they get in and they're like, I can't do this. This is too much. I'd rather just let the Empire do their thing. And I get that. It's very like, that's the easier route. But you know, like, do you want to be comfortable or you want to be free?
Right.
You know, like that's the whole thing. Is like, do you want this tyrannical, you know, force keeping you oppressed, or do you want to be free? And so like and I think that's what they're really, really focusing on with this show. And I love it more and more. And I was such a naysayer for the show originally. I was like, how the fuck are they going to make this cool? How is this going to be interesting? And it's like, this episode was the turning point for me because the past couple episodes have been rough. These filler episodes have just been so boring in my opinion. Cause it's just like, it's character development, but it's slow character development because we're not looking at a massive picture here. We're looking at this tiny, finite little moment in Star Wars history, and now all those characters are gone. So like, I'm so confused what they're going to do with this show, but I love it because if they keep on refreshing characters and just like we go from mission to mission, you got these new people and we have to learn to love them and get along, and then they're wiped out again. Like, oh my God, that's so good.
It's like XCOM.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Attach to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we said at the beginning that this is we're gonna see the darker side of the rebellion, and every other Star Wars show is like, oh, hope, rebellion, we're gonna take them down, and you know, Cassian is the poster child for like, yeah, I put a blaster to a kid's head to make sure that we can get the money out to fund this rebellion. That's the vibe, and I appreciate them not sugarcoating it.
No, not at all, dude. There was an Imperial guy who was taking a piss by though. Like they're not pulling anything. They're just like, let's just get, how far is our limit? Like, has anyone ever peed in Star Wars before? Don't think so.
Has anyone said shit in Star Wars before?
No, this is so cool. It's like it's the perfect adult Star Wars show.
There was an article, I don't know where it came from. I saw it in my feed, and it said, in quotes, shit in quotes is now Star Wars canon word. And I was like, oh man, that really opens the door for me and Tim to be at Celebration next year in official capacity.
Usually it's like poodoo. You know, it's like a curse word in a different alien language.
Bantha fodder.
Yeah, exactly. It's always like, oh, that's edgy, but man, that's G-rated still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, times they are changing, so they dropped the. Again, this is not a show I'm going to sit down with Hunter and watch. I think it's a bit much for him. Has
he watched Rogue One?
No, he's never seen Rogue One.
I mean, it's the same lens. So I mean, like, if I think Rogue One, Solo, Andor, like all of these are meant for you and I.
Solo's at least funny though.
Solo is funny, but Solo has a lot of really dark elements to it, and it's a lot of like lore building. Like there's a lot. I feel like that movie is very in depth, and people missed a lot of what was going on in that movie. But these shows, the movies and shows, like I think they really, like, we always say Star Wars is for kids. Yes. But this is
not
like,
this one.
No, they're really starting to muddle the lines of like what's considered like kid and like what really is like, what's an adult Star Wars like? And I think Disney's to really starting to explore this because you understand that they're the fans with money, the people that are going to buy are the same kids that were, 20 years ago, were watching this shit.
When we say Star Wars is for kids, the core story is always
the core element, the good versus evil, like all that stuff translates.
The books have never been for kids.
No. But like the core element of Star Wars can always translate really, really well for children. It makes sense. Good versus evil, space magic, lightsabers. But when you start getting into this is really interesting for me. for someone who loves Star Wars but wants a more like adult tone. And Disney and Marvel are seeing this. Marvel, they're bringing freaking Deadpool. Like Deadpool is going to be an MCU movie now. And we know how edgy Deadpool is. And if they pull back from any of that, if it doesn't feel like Deadpool, they'll flop. And then you're adding Logan into on top of that. So now you've got like the last Logan movie. Holy crap. If you take away from that, like that style, like how like intense it was, no one's going to want to watch it.
And I don't think Ryan Reynolds would sign on to do a watered down Deadpool.
No, I would assume that he was like, I need full creative control.
He idolizes that character. So on that note,
because that's him.
On that note, Paul dropped the 2025 movie schedule from Disney into our show notes here. So we have everything from this May through till 2028.
Yeah. So these are so out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of movies coming out, Kevin, we're only going to have 3 Star Wars movies.
One of which is in indefinite hiatus too.
Yeah, Rogue Squadron's off in limbo land.
Yeah, but don't worry, because we're going to get 4 more Avatar movies. So that just fixes everything.
What is Taika working on? What is that show called?
The show?
Isn't he or is it a movie?
He's doing a Star Wars movie.
Oh, it's a movie. So is that one of the why isn't that in here?
It's probably the 25 one.
I thought we already know the name of it.
No.
Oh, I thought they already said what it was.
No. He asked you. I told you the story. He asked Natalie Portman if she wanted to be in a Star Wars movie.
No, I knew that. Yeah.
And he
was like, "Oh, I fucking forgot you were in there, mate.
You're Darth Vader's fucking mom."
Oh shit, mate. So sorry. Fuck. I want to just sit down with Taika Waititi. Like, this guy's gonna be so wild.
Look, I'm all about Disney remaking old classics and making them live action. Cool, keep doing that. Marvel, absolutely keep doing that. Why are you making 4 more Avatar movies?
Because they have a park, Kevin, and they need to get their return on it.
Why? That is the dumbest decision Bob Iger ever made.
I also don't like how he's James Cameron is out there just talking shit to everybody about it. Like, if you talk shit about my movie, then fuck you. It's just like, maybe you should make a better movie.
Yeah, the movie's trash. It's gorgeous visually in the time it was made.
I will say, I saw Avatar in theaters twice by myself when I was 18. I think I was 18. I don't know. I was old enough to drive myself to the movie theater and watch this, and I saw Avatar twice. Not because I liked Avatar, but because the 3D technology using at the time, like that was like one of the first 3D movies that was an immersive 3D experience. It wasn't the gimmicky like whoa like come out at the screen stuff. It was all about a dimension of immersion of like particles and just like the way that the things looked on screen. It just felt like you were kind of in the screen, which was really, really neat. So I appreciated that as a viewer. But it's like after the first time you watch, you're like, oh, this is fucking Pocahontas in space.
That's all.
And the more you watch, you're like, oh, this is Dancing with Wolves. This is Fern Gully. You know, it's just like nothing in the Avatar movie. Now I could be completely wrong with Avatar 2. Avatar 2 could be fucking wild and it could just be just out of this world. The first movie, like the unobtainium as the material, like that's it. We got this material we can't obtain, so I guess we're gonna call it unobtainium. Like all of it just felt really shallow and it didn't feel like it was worth it. So to see them already slate out 3 more movies for a movie that by this time I will be 38 years old, almost 40.
What's wrong with 40?
Nothing. All I'm saying is that Kyler at this time will be like ready to watch movies and stuff. And I don't plan on taking him to Avatar. I'm not going to make him sit down and watch all of those Avatars.
Well, that's my thing is Disney parks and Disney IPs are usually based on fanaticism. Am I wrong?
No, you're
Star
right.
Wars fans 100%. Are fanatic.
Yes.
Marvel fans are fanatic. Disney adults are fanatic.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
No, you're right.
I have never, ever in my life met someone that's like, Avatar is one of my favorite movies to the point where they should build a theme park and make 4 more of them. I don't know anybody who thinks that.
I think the universe is really cool. Like the whole idea of like, you know, like the blue guys and whatnot, but like that's really it. Like it's just like it's a neat idea of just like them having this symbiotic relationship with this planet, and like that's cool. That's neat. Pandora's
I'd rather they make 4 more Willow movies. Like
I'm gonna tell you now, I don't give a fuck about Willow.
That's fine, but I would rather them make.
Should I give a fuck about Willow?
I mean, it's high fantasy. If you're into it, you're into it. If
I love high fantasy. It's just like it's something that I didn't watch when I was a kid, so I don't know if I'm missing out on.
I mean, when I was a kid, it was a scary movie to watch, especially the end.
Okay.
So maybe go back and give it a whirl. I love it. It's Val Kilmer, man. Mad Mardigan. Can't go wrong.
I like Val Kilmer.
So
not the same anymore, though.
I know. It's Top Gun. They had to do all sorts of crazy things. But like 4 more Avatar movies. So, but yeah, through 2028, there's only 3 Star Wars movies slated, and one of them is indefinitely on hiatus. So I would say there's only 2 slated. And then, which just shows you the focus for Star Wars is going to be shows.
Which I'm okay with. I totally honestly, fine with that. I think for the most part, Star Wars is told very, very well episodically and in more condensed versions than getting a 2-hour just whiplash. Because that's what Star Wars movies feel like now to me. They feel like they're just these massive dumps of things that aren't coherent. And it doesn't tell a good story. Like go back and watch some of the originals. Like go watch the prequel. Look at the pacing of that. It doesn't feel good. Look at the pacing we have now for Boba or for Mando or for any of these shows, for Obi-Wan, and feel the pacing out. And then go back and watch a movie and you're just like, this doesn't feel right anymore. It just feels too much. And so like I really like these smaller broken out as long as they aren't just full of just like these random side quests. That's the only thing that I don't love about an episodic release of Star Wars is when we get an episode or 2 that are just filler episodes for no reason. Like that's really my only complaint about it.
Mando, I have to bring this thing to this person, but first I must go to this other ice planet that has nothing to do with the main plot line.
The frog lady and the ice spider were just kind of like, it was cute, and I really like watching Grogu eat her babies, but it was just kind of like that was it. The ice spider from the original concept art was sick.
I got it right here.
Yeah, but only like hardcore fans would love that, and you and I didn't even know that until we like looked at it. We're like, holy shit!
I think it's so heavy. Yeah, no, I mean, it was cool visually again, and Frog Lady memes made my week that week, but that's all I got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what we get with the filler episode. But for the most part, I'm happy to see that we aren't just getting like inundated with Star Wars movies. Because when we got inundated with Star Wars movies, Star Wars was at its lowest. Yeah, when we were getting a Star Wars movie like every year or like twice a year, I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking sick. Star Wars is back on the menu. And then
with the rise of streaming, storytelling is changing. HBO tested the waters with House of the Dragon, and they were either like, this is the end, like we're not going to do this again, or we can get them back. And they got everyone back. And now they have 6 projects in the pipeline in the Westeros area. So you look at that.
That's what people want.
Look at Warner Brothers Discovery just completely mishandling DC. But on you know what they did do good there? The animated stuff from DC is ridiculous. It puts everyone else to shame when it comes to animated movies. The DC animated universe kills everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Marvel,
but that's what they've always done really well.
Right.
They've
all those
always
dark
done that well.
rated R Batman and Justice League stuff is amazing. So it's just the way storytelling is changing in our era. If you sign on to make a movie with an IP, they're like, well, how many of these can you make? It's no longer just about the 2 or 3 hours that you can fit your story into. Yeah. Now they want evergreen IPs that last, forever. Rings of Power, it's such like tumultuous between the hardcore fans, between the casual fans, and between the new people. And I can critique that show all day. It has its ton of flaws, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But it's Lord of the Rings. Like, they signed for 3 seasons. We're getting 3 seasons. It's happening. They're filming season 2 as we speak. So it's all about the storytelling and how far they can stretch it out, because that's what keeps people engaged and that's what keeps people subscribed.
Right.
That is the new meta. You have to keep your subscribers engaged, and they have to keep giving you money, and you need to give them reasons to do that.
Do you think we'll see the same thing with Dune? Do you think they're going to see that the Doom formula in the movie wasn't what they wanted, and they'll take it to streaming?
I think everyone's about to follow Disney and start fleshing out IPs to that degree. I know for Dune 2 is slated to come out this time next year. And they actually moved it up 2 weeks as of a few days ago. And then they're working on the Sisters of the Dunes TV show is the rumor.
Yeah, so they are going to do it. They're going to Star Wars this bitch.
What are they called, Paul? I forget you know what I'm talking about. The Bene Gesserits. Yeah, so they're working on that. So I would assume that HBO is going to want their evergreen IPs. Netflix signed, they have the rights to Narnia now.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot.
And
you and I talked
They've
about
had that for 2 or 3 years, and they haven't said a peep. So I think stuff's in development. I mean, for Narnia, the best way to tell that story before you branch off into like telling your own versions of the story is a movie for each book.
Or each season gets a book.
Or each season gets a book, But they're short books. They're not long books. You got to keep that in mind. So you'd be doing what Rings of Power did. And I guarantee you, everyone's sitting back and looking at Rings of Power right now saying, how does a fan base react to us filling in the blanks?
True.
Because the storytellers are dead. They can't do it themselves.
Yeah.
It's not Star Wars where we keep passing the torch. It's not Marvel where you keep passing the torch. The people that made these worlds are dead. So now it's up to the new people to tell the story, and some people don't want it touched, and other people are like, yeah, have fun.
But that's the joys of a story. Like I feel like humans have forgotten how stories and like how mythologies and whatnot have been like passed down. Like that's the whole point of telling a story is you give these people this world, or you give them this whatever you created in your mind, and you pass it down, and then it gets embellished by that person, and they add more to it, and it just plays telephone. Like that's the whole that's the joys of storytelling, is that you get to put your little flair on it. I don't understand why people have to be such purists all the time. Like that just it blows my mind. If you want the pure story, go read the book. If it was written by you, if you want the purest version of whatever this author spit out onto a page, go read the fucking book.
Yep, I agree.
It's like that with it's like it with Harry Potter or anything else. Like when we go and play this fucking Harry Potter game in a couple weeks, the amount of Potter nerds that are going to throw a fucking fit about a world they've never, like a world that they know, but a time they've never been to. Like, oh, this isn't how it was in the book. Like, yeah, because this is in the 1800s, you dumbass.
Yeah, no, I'm
but
well prepared.
That's going to happen. I guarantee you.
There are things in Rings of Power that, like, decisions that I would never have made, but it doesn't, the core fundamental of the show is still there. Like, there's still a point. And there's decisions they made that I'm like, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also like, let's see how this all plays out, because I want to see the full picture.
Yeah. You're also a different caliber of fan, too. Like, that's a whole other thing, too, is people forget what level of fandom they're a part of. Like, there's the super casual person, like my wife. Amy is very casual when it comes to things that are of fantasy. She's just like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. But like, that's where it drops. It's very shallow. And then you've got people like you and I who just love these things that we're a part of, and we just dive deep into it because we enjoy it. But like, that's the whole thing, is like, you and I are very much so like on the hyperscale spectrum. Like, we're just so far off, and that's okay, because this stuff wasn't made for us.
Right.
There's parts of these shows that were made for us. The little tidbits they sprinkle in there, like, that's it. That's fucking cool. We can appreciate that, but it's not for us. It's made for our wives.
If I don't like it, I'll just stop watching it. People did this with Marvel at the beginning. You remember?
Yeah.
During the first few years of Marvel, right when Disney bought it, oh, they're gonna ruin Marvel. This is the end of it.
Because those are purist people who live in comic books.
Yeah, and then they saw Infinity War and Endgame. They're like, that was the greatest represent. Stan Lee would be so proud. And Same thing with Disney ruined Star Wars. Yeah. You woke up to watch The Mandalorian, or stayed up late to watch The Mandalorian every week.
Yeah, or Obi-Wan, or.
So I agree wholeheartedly. It's just like, we're in a different age of storytelling, and it's like, enjoy the ride, because we would have. You remember growing up, we would have killed for this kind of stuff, because it was either books or the VHS tapes that we had.
Really shitty video games.
Yeah, or comics. That was it. That's what we had to immerse ourselves in these worlds. And then I think with the when I actually think video games are part of the reason this all propelled, because then you had experiences like Knights of the Old Republic where it was like,
or Shadows of the Empire, like
Shadows of the Empire. They really like these ancillary stories. They really like being like thrown into this world where they know some of the characters and they know some of games like, and then you had games like Skyrim and all the Morrowind games and all those. And it was like, okay, they really like these expansive, open things. And that's how we grew up doing that. Some people played D&D, some people read comic books. And then as we got older, the people that were making the financial decisions at these studios either had kids that were interested in this, or they themselves were, and that's how we got to this point. So as things change, you will see the market react, and the market is reacting by saying, we need to make things that keep people subscribed. It's no longer about getting you into a theater with popcorn. It's about how do we get you on a Friday night to sit down on your couch and eat popcorn and watch this to make sure your subscription stays active to our service.
The pandemic is wild, dude, because like that is what accelerated this exponentially.
It changed less than things than I thought it would socially, but this is one of the things that had a massive impact.
Most definitely. I mean, like, I still don't like for the most part to like go to a movie theater. I still have a hard time feeling comfortable sitting next to people I don't know for a long period of time and feel their breath on me. Like, it's just like that. I just don't like it. It doesn't feel good.
You found the hack for that, though.
Yeah, I found a hack. $200, and you bring 10 of your friends, and they all pay $20. And you go in on a movie theater, and that's it. And
done.
You can all sit as far apart or as close as you want, and it's sick. It was great. It was the best way that we could have watched Doctor Strange. But yeah, dude. I mean, like that, and then that's frustrating for me because I'd rather just stay at home. And when they took away movies from streaming, oh my god, like that was so frustrating for me because like that was the perfect fix. Like the whole idea of, we say this, I feel like we say this every week. Pausing when you need to go to the bathroom, wearing your own clothes, like your comfy clothes, like you're in pajamas or you just have trunks on, your shirt, whatever you want, dude, butt ass naked on a couch. And that's it. You get full control over your movie watching experience. And you don't have to go somewhere and be under their control for X amount of time.
You want to know my favorite
part? Like you're stuck in this chair. You can't pause it. You're at the mercy of how far away the bathroom is. You have to go get their snacks and all that shit, unless you have a wife that has or a husband, significant other that has deep pockets and they can hide candy and shit in there for you.
My favorite part is the services that set up ways to watch with other people without leaving your house.
Yeah.
Because I can watch when my daughter's with her mom or my mom lives in New York. Mm-hmm. I have watched movies and shows with them while they're on their couch and I'm on mine, and you keep FaceTime up and you do the whole thing. It's a nice alternative to doing that.
Stuff like this is going to be a game changer. Kevin and I sat down in a virtual movie theater and we were like
Big
hanging
room,
out,
right?
We were watching Ben stream on Twitch.
Yes.
That's what we were doing. We were just hanging out. I was in here and he was in his living room and we were just like talking and hanging out. And honestly, I wish we should do more of this because there's definitely a lot of times where we can't hang out, but we should. And this is going to be it.
Yeah.
Especially with like their new the new Oculus that they announced.
Man, Paul, if you could record Tim and I watching the finale of Andor in big room in VR,
that'd be so stressful. I'd be like, I just got back from the gym, Kevin. I'll be right there.
Maybe in the future we'll do it with something else, but man, that'd be hysterical.
Watch parties in VR would be really good. But I mean, but that's where we're going. This is where we are headed. We are going to be finding more ways to connect with each other via virtual, over the internet and things like that. So yeah, watch parties are great, dude.
For media, I mean, there's nothing like
most definitely
getting your feet dirty and going and touching grass. Don't get me wrong.
I'm talking about within the confines of us consuming media.
Right. But then, you can meet up and you can all go to Galaxy's Edge and celebrate there too and have fun. Like that's the experience. I am really excited. I just booked the week before Christmas. I'm taking the kids to Universal, and we've never stayed on property, so we're staying on property.
It's really fun.
God, the price disparity between this and Disney is just fucking insane, by the way. And I know the experience will not be the same. I've already prepared myself, but I still
cast
like
members don't give a fuck about you. They're not even cast members. They're just Universal Studio employees.
How's it different from Disney right now?
Because the cast members have to still smile. They have to point properly, Kevin.
Yes, I know.
They don't point properly at Universal Studios. They give you the one finger. It's that way.
Like, go this way, go this way, go this way. Yeah. No, but I'm really excited now that I've seen all the Harry Potter movies to go and understand what the fuck I'm looking at.
Yeah, you get to go into Hogwarts, into the castle and shit.
Yeah, and I've been like, this is fun. I have no idea what's happening here, but now I'm excited to do that. And, they'll have it decorated for Christmas like they do in the movies and stuff. Mm-hmm. But, like, that's an experience that I am excited to do because of media. And, like, that is what Disney wants an end-to-end solution. They have said this publicly. Like, they track your data and your viewing habits to try and get you... Go ahead.
Can we talk about how they're logging all of your information from Disney Plus to give you a better park experience?
Yes. Which I still don't really fully understand how that's going to play out.
But just think about it. If they're able, so they're going to take your Disney Plus information, link it in with your main Disney account. So when you go to the park, you're going to get a specialized, unique media experience based off of your watching habits on Disney Plus.
The funny thing is when my kids don't switch my profile off.
Oh my God! You're right.
And they're going to be like, we see that you're very into PJ Masks, Mr. Murray.
Dude, there's so much Bluey and PJ Masks in my account. Oh, fuck. And Funhouse. There's so much Funhouse.
I see that you're very interested in Vampirella, Mr. Murray. What? No. Clone Wars. What are you talking about?
Kyler just loves watching Mickey's Halloween Adventure, and Clarabelle is a witch, and she is Wishmaster Clarabelle, or Witchmaster Clarabelle, and she's teaching Daisy and Minnie on how to become witches.
Black magic. I like it.
Black magic in Disney, and Kyler loves it.
It says,
be careful. I found this black magic in one of my kids' candy bars.
No, the best one I've seen is the One Ring one. And it's like
I saw one yesterday where it was a smoked old fashioned.
Uh-huh.
they're like, be careful! I found this with and they named off like really expensive whiskey and all this shit. And it's got a smoky aftertaste. Don't! I repeat, don't let your kids have this.
I saw one this morning that said like parents. Actually, it might. Oh no, I clicked away from it. It was like, parents, be careful. I opened this candy bar and found a full version of Doom 64 running inside of it. No, this one. Parents, please check your kids' candy this Halloween. I just found the One Ring forged in secret fires of Mount Doom, which the Dark Lord Sauron poured his cruelty, his malice, and his will to dominate all life in. And it's just the Snickers with the ring shoved inside of it. Please give me more of these. Anyway, quickly, let's run through the news because there's one news item we have to talk about before we get out of here. Tamagotchi is back, but you can get a Grogu Tamagotchi, and it's all Star Wars engineered. So you'll be able to feed it squid chowder. If you feed it too much, they'll do little Grogu things. I hope it pukes like green, like, that'd be cute. But yeah, you can get yourself a Grogu Tamagotchi, which I think is adorable. And maybe I'll get that for my son and try and teach him some responsibility this Christmas.
Oh,
it's worth it.
Yeah, nothing screams responsibility like letting your Grogu die.
Yeah, but then they understand that they didn't take care of it.
Did you feed your Grogu? Did you walk your Grogu?
I can put it on the start. We have the star chart that has all of their stars they get for doing different tasks. We can add feeding Grogu to that, or keeping. Is Grogu still alive? You get a star. ILM is expanding to Mumbai in India. Now, the interesting thing here is not necessarily the expansion, but Paul pointed out that every time ILM opens a new location, that indicates a new Star Wars project. So maybe this is for some of the future stuff down the pipeline. I'm not sure. It might be a new studio where they can film. Who the hell knows? But ILM is expanding to Mumbai.
Wonder why Mumbai?
Property, labor,
taxes.
Got it. So yeah, no, I know they have Singapore and a few other places. Singapore is the only other one I know off the top of my head. All right, here we go. This is the thing I'm most excited about today. The rumor mill is swirling right now.
Ah, yes.
That Lars Mikkelsen is back in play to be Grand Admiral Thrawn. I have a feeling it was either a ruse or it was the power of the people.
Yes, agreed.
Because there was a whole thing.
There's no way around it.
he did that indie film, and everyone was like, "Oh."
Everybody was so pissed off. There was no way around the backlash. Like if that was real, if that piece of information was really true, and that they were gonna not hire him because of X, Y, and Z reasons that were all bullshit, they were gonna have a massive PR fire on their hands.
Right.
And to have the person who brought that character to life, who literally, like, I swear to God, they modeled him after, like, they modeled Thrawn after Lars. Like, there's no way around it. He's the guy. He's the guy. It's just like when they did the Ahsoka render, you know, they're like, oh, this, like, Rosario Dawson is Ahsoka. There's no way around it. Like, this is the same thing. Yeah. Like, it's his voice. Like, you can't do that. Like, it would, oh my God. Like, it would just be so, it'd be like not having Katie as Bo-Katan. Like, it would be wrong. It wouldn't feel right. It's like, oh my God, you have a high caliber actress who has brought this character to life on the digital screen. Why don't we just have her play the role? Smart. So if they wouldn't have done that with Lars, it wouldn't have made any sense, because if they did it for Katie Sackhoff, why wouldn't they do it for Lars Mikkelsen?
I agree. And I think that you will win favor in that scenario with your
nice
fan
job,
base.
Star Wars fandom. You did it.
Yeah, so I think we may have pushed them, or like you said, it was just a ruse the entire time, which is also very possible.
I'm going to go with my thought is that this was a whole that the entire idea of putting that out there was a curveball to try to just throw us off to see what
Do you think they have meetings where they're like, all right, who wants to post this rumor on their shitpost account to get them off the set?
Oh, most definitely. Look what they did for
Benedict Cumberbatch as Thrawn. Love it. Post it. Send it.
What did they do for Boba Fett? They had Plo Koon.
For Mandalorian season 2.
It was Boba.
No, it was Mandalorian season 2, the ending.
Yeah. Sure. Yes. Yeah. When he was walking in, it was Plo Koon that was supposed to come in, or they said it was Plo Koon. But yeah, I mean, like, that's the whole thing, is like they try to even throw off their people that are internally that are working on the show to try to, like, Marvel does the same thing. Marvel only gives out sections of, like, the scripts. They only give you your lines. They don't give you anybody else's. Like, here you go. And so they have the actors like, I have no fucking clue what's going on. Only a couple actors know the entire thing because they're in, like, every shot.
Yeah, like Endgame. Apparently they didn't tell everyone that.
Yeah, only like 3 people in the cast knew exactly how it was going to end, and nobody else knew.
Yeah.
Because they had to know, because, like, their character was going to die.
So I'm excited. I hope this is true. This would set this right. We can stop talking about it. Our viral clip a few weeks ago, by the way, was me saying Henry Cavill should be Thrawn. I did not read the comments because that's a scary place to go on TikTok. So.
Oh no.
Oh, that went super viral. You didn't see that?
No.
Oh yeah, no.
We went viral on TikTok?
Yeah, with me saying that Henry Cavill should be Thrawn.
Good job, Kevin.
But on YT Shorts. But yeah, Paul said that it was rather divided. Like, most people actually, it was like 50-50 on the.
I said no, right?
Yeah, you disagree.
Okay, I was like, there's no way in hell his body type isn't right.
But most people were like, yeah, it could work. Some people were like, no, absolutely not. Before we get out of here, I started Path of Deceit, the new High Republic book. You are going to love it because it's about a cult.
Oh, I'm almost done with Shadows of the Sith, and I love how Noctis is brought in. I love how Momin is brought in. And I thought it was so cool they brought in Momin, because the timeline works just right, because Momin's mask was at Vader's castle. And Vader and Momin had a thing going on, and now Momin's moved off to the Chandrillan, or the not the Chiss person, the whatever her name is, whatever she is, Pantoran. She's a Pantoran. But yeah, I love this whole.
Did you have Luke's? I don't want to say flashback. It's not really a flashback, but his encounter with the ancient Sith Lord.
So yes, but it's just like. It was
sees the past.
No, not yet. No, okay. I got to the part where he knows that it's Momin and that he possesses, like, he's possessing the mask. I've got like 3 hours left, so I'm like at the tail end of the book.
Yeah, there's a part where Luke sees that Sith's past. That's all I'm gonna say to you. I don't want to say how it's done.
Momin's or Noctis.
Have they mentioned the name Exum Panchard yet?
No. No, wait, that sounds really familiar. Yes.
That's the name of the ancient.
No, they haven't, but I've heard that name before. Okay. So maybe it wasn't the book, maybe it was something else, but I've heard that name before.
No,
interesting. I love how they keep on going back and saying, I thought this was things of legend. Like this whole idea of like we've only heard the stories of this thing and now it's real. And I love that so much for Star Wars as a whole, because it's just, there's so many things from EU that are so good. And for them to recognize, again, I know we've talked about this multiple times on the show, but when they just go back and they say, this was a thing of legend and now it's real, it just makes it feel so much more, there's a lot more gravity to it. Like there's just like, there's far more, there's a lot of momentum behind that. We're like, we only heard whispers of this thing and now it's here. Like, that's so cool. It's like the same idea of like when we finally get to see aliens for the first time, we're like, oh, you get to walk into a spacecraft. Like, oh, we knew this fucking thing existed, but now we get to see it. You know, that's cool. I'm excited for shit like that. And so like, it's really cool for the Star Wars fandom to have this thing of like, I love all of these things, but they aren't canon now. And now we're getting this slow trickle of all of the old things, which just continues to reinforce the fact that I think that Knights of the Old Republic is going to be the thing that kind of like brings it all together for that old Republic time era, is that everything that happens in that game is going to be like, aha, okay, I get it. Yes, perfect. And it's just going to really help bring that story back to life and into the chronological order.
Yeah, no, it's when you remember the name X and Panchard and Luke's encounter, and then when you're done with that, let me know what you think, because that was my favorite part of the entire book.
I've loved this book from start to finish. It's really good.
Yes, no, it's definitely one of my favorite. But yeah, so far I'm like 2 chapters into Path of Deceit, and it is a freaking cult.
Okay, sick.
Your community will be very pleased.
So is it focusing on? So it's not focusing on like the Republic or anything like that right now.
So I met one Jedi Padawan and their master. They talk about how Jedi are sending Pathfinders all over the galaxy, so I think you'll enjoy that part. But so far it was focused on the first encounter with the mother, and the mother is running a straight up hippie cult.
Now she's the same alien race as
I don't know, because so far 2 people have been called the mother, so I have a feeling that was all something's amiss right now.
But what's the race though? That like that gray skin where they look like night elves.
I don't think they named it yet.
Okay, so but we assume that her and the eye, what's his name, Markion Rowe, they're of the same race, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing if they mentioned.
And we don't know if they're force sensitive creatures, or we do know that they're force sensitive creatures.
She is, according to the mother. Again, they seem.
But we know. But we are. I'm 99% confident in saying that Markion Rowe is force sensitive to like a certain degree. I think he's trained. I think they're people trained in some type of like force. Like it's not a Jedi. It's not the Jedi way. It's not the Sith way. It's just a way where they tap into the force, and like they are trained in that, because like he was able to wield a lightsaber really well. Him being able to control the freaking Force Eater thing, like all of that stuff. Like, why was it just his bloodline's the only one that's able to do all this? So like, that's why I think that there's something up with that. I think that the mother and Markion are going to get tied together in this series somehow. And then we're going to go all the way back to Markion Rowe later on, and he's going to be some crazy ass, not Sith, but just some super powered guy with a bunch of robots.
We will find out more.
I guess you'll have to listen to Star Wars and Scotch episode.
Also, this book is not Mark, just so you know that going in.
Fuck. Dude, it's been hard. Like, I mean, like this guy, the guy who's doing the voices, he's good in Shadows of the Sith. He's good. He does a really good Lando Calrissian. The frustrating part is that there's a lot of other people that sound like Lando as well. And I'm just like, is that no, it's not Lando. Okay, that was just a pirate. Okay. Mark for sure does such a great job in making sure that all of his characters in that story. Now he has used the same type of voice for certain characters, but in a story that he's reading, every character has their own unique voice. And like, that's the frustrating thing, is that he spoiled us so goddamn well with having all these voices for all these characters. And then you go and you're just like, this just isn't the same. So Mark, I appreciate the hell out of you. And there we go.
There you go. That's it for episode 102 of Star Wars and Scotch. You can go check out everything Tim's doing at fb.gg/darkness429 and darkness429 everywhere on the internet, and 9 a.m.-ish Eastern every day live. But what are you playing today?
I don't know, Kevin. I don't know. We're at this weird spot where all the new video games are slated for like the holiday season. So once we get into like the last week of October and into November, all the new games are going to be out. So we're like in this weird like limbo where I'm just like, I should just take a vacation because it's just like, I know I'm going to be streaming forever now. But like, I just want this like lull to be over. So like we've been playing Overwatch. I think we're going to play some Hunt Showdown today.
I'm going to play some Gotham Knights with you in a week or two.
Oh yeah. Pool Shark and I were talking about doing some of that. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, Gotham Knights is cool. I wish it was 4 players. It's only 2-player co-op, which kind of sucks.
I mean, the fact that it's 2-player co-op, you can go anywhere in the city.
That was my point, is that you could be playing 2-player co-op, but have no idea what your buddy's doing. So it's just like you're just off. You're just like, oh hey friend, and poof, I'm off to go do this thing.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, apparently progress persists in your world. Even
so if you do something in your friend's world, when you go back to your own world, it's already done.
And you can be the same. Originally, they said no, but now, like, if you want 2 Robins, they're justifying it through the multiverse.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's cool.
So you don't have to be 2 different characters. Like, if you're both down with Red Hood, you can both play Red Hood.
That's cool. That's nice. So it's really just sandboxy, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's just like a 2-person sandbox, which is interesting. So yeah, go check out 10fb.gg/darkness429. Everything I do is at raredrop.co. Make sure you follow Star Wars and Scotch on Twitter and on Facebook, and follow Rare Drop everywhere. Rare Drop Co. Rare Drop. I'm Kevin X Division on Twitter, KMagic101 on Instagram. You all have a fantastic week. We will see you next week for episode 7 of Andor, and hopefully we see you next week as well for Rings of Power finale for D&D. And then hopefully I see you on Thursday for the second to last watch party, because this week is the last episode of Rings of Power. And make sure you're drinking that King's Coast. And tonight, every Wednesday for the next few weeks, we will be doing Star Wars and Scotch game night. So I will be live on YouTube and Facebook playing SWTOR tonight. And then I think we're going to switch games next week. You all have a good one. And as always, may the Force be with you.